Hello and welcome to BYJU'S IAS, presenting to you the daily quiz for 18th of August 2021. Let us begin and have a look at the first question for today. Which of the given statements with respect to Financial Inclusion Index is or are correct? It is an index launched by RBI incorporating the details of banking, investment, insurance, postal and the pension sector. It comprises three broad parameters: access, usage, and quality, with highest weightage to access. The base year for FI index would be financial year 2020-21. What is the context? This article in the Hindu newspaper today states that the Reserve Bank of India has announced the formation of a composite index called the Financial Inclusion Index. So now RBI has come out with the Financial Inclusion Index, that is the FI index, and this index will capture the extent of financial inclusion across India. That is, it will see how well individuals and the businesses are able to access and use appropriate, affordable and timely financial products and services. So this index will collect information on banking, investments, insurance, postal as well as the pension sectors to determine the level of financial inclusion. So what are the parameters included in this index? This index is made up of three main parameters with different weightages. Access has 35% weightage, usage has 45% and quality has 20% weightage. Also, each of these parameters have several aspects that are calculated using different indicators. And also, this index has a unique feature. That is, it has a quality parameter. This quality parameter captures the quality aspect of financial inclusion. For example, financial literacy in the population, or consumer protection, or inequalities and deficiencies in financial services and other such qualitative parameters. And this index will be scored on a scale of 0 to 100, in which 0 refers to complete financial exclusion and 100 refers to complete financial inclusion. Another important point to note is that this index does not have a base year. Why? This has been excluded so that each stakeholder's cumulative efforts for financial inclusion over the years can be easily reflected without a base year. And please note that this index will be published by the Reserve Bank of India every year in the month of July. Now coming back to the question. As we discussed, statement number 1 is correct. Statement number 2 becomes incorrect because usage has the highest weightage at 45% and this index does not have a base year. Therefore, the right answer to our question would be option C, 1 only. Moving on to question number 2. Which of the given statements with respect to Atal Innovation Mission is or are correct? It is a flagship initiative of the Ministry of Science and Technology. It has the dual objective of entrepreneurship promotion and innovation promotion. Arise ANIC was launched under the mission to promote creative, innovative mindset in schools by setting up dedicated innovation workspaces. What is the context? This PIB article states that the Student Entrepreneurship Program 3.0 has been launched through a collaboration between the Atal Innovation Mission and Dassault Systems. This Atal Innovation Mission is a flagship initiative of the Niti Aayog. It was set up in the year 2016 to promote a culture of innovation and entrepreneurship in the country. The Atal Innovation Mission has two core functions. One would be entrepreneurship promotion through self-employment and talent utilization, that is C2. Number 2 would be innovation promotion. So this Atal Innovation Mission has various different programs under it, like the Atal Tinkering Labs, Atal Incubation Centers, and Arise ANIC Challenge, etc. Now let us go back to the question and answer it. Statement number 1 would be incorrect because it is an initiative of the Niti Aayog. Statement number 2, as we discussed, is correct. Its objective is entrepreneurship promotion as well as innovation promotion. Statement number 3 is incorrect because Arise ANIC was launched under Atal Innovation Mission to promote innovation in a phased manner in the MSME sector. Its aim was to improve research capabilities in the startup and MSME ecosystems and not in schools. Therefore, the right answer to this question would be option A, 2 only. Moving on to question number 3. Shishu, Kishore, Tarun, 3 categories of intervention is linked with which of the following government schemes or programs? Option A, Mission Indradhanush. Option B, PM Janani Suraksha Yojana. Option C, Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana. Option D, Pradhan Mantri Kisan Sampada Yojana. What is the context? This article in the PIB talks about transformative steps that have been taken by the Government of India for women empowerment and the promotion of entrepreneurship among women. And this has a mention of the schemes such as the Beti Bachao Beti Padhao scheme for the education of girl child, Ujjwala scheme that provides free gas connections, and Mudra scheme which advances loans to the poor. The Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana or the Mudra scheme was launched so that the borrowers can avail collateral-free business loans at low rate of interests. Here Mudra stands for Micro Units Development and Refinance Agency. So the business owners, entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs, manufacturers and other such beneficiaries can avail loans under this Mudra scheme, and the products under the Mudra scheme are divided into three categories, that is Shishu, Kishore and Tarun. And this categorization is based on the limit of loans advanced. The task for you for today is to let us know the limit of loans that is made available under each of these three categories. Coming back to our question, so the right answer to our question would be option C, Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana. This Mudra Yojana has three categories of loan, namely Shishu, Kishore and Tarun. Now let us take up question number 4. Which of the given statements best describes the Indian Army's Operation Sadbhavana? Option A, humanitarian assistance that supplied relief packages to Rohingya refugees in Bangladesh. Option B, civilian outreach program in Jammu and Kashmir aimed at winning the hearts and minds of the residents of the two union territories. Option C, civic action programs for the people in northeastern states of India for developing harmonious feelings and positive attitude towards the army. Option D, evacuation operation launched to bring back the diplomats and security personnel stranded in the Indian embassy in Kabul in the wake of intense fighting between Afghan forces and the Taliban militants. What is the context? This article in the Hindu newspaper has a reference to Operation Sadbhavana. As a part of the civilian outreach program, that is Operation Sadbhavana, the Indian Army is sponsoring 110 students from the Union territories of Jammu, Kashmir and Ladakh to its residential public schools and higher education institutions across India, and this will begin from the current academic year. Here we have to understand that the Indian Army carries out various different humanitarian military operations, and one such operation is Operation Sadbhavana, also known as Operation Goodwill. This is being carried out in the Union territories of Jammu and Kashmir to win the hearts and minds of the residents of both the Union territories. Various different initiatives have been undertaken under this operation, including women empowerment centers, model villages, educational tours, healthcare facilities as well as sports. Therefore, the right answer to our question would be option B. Now let us take up a previous year question from Prelims paper 2020. With reference to cultural history of India, which one of the following is the correct description of the term paramitas? Option A, the earliest Dharmashastra texts written in aphoristic or sutra style. Option B, philosophical schools that did not accept the authority of Vedas. Option C, perfections whose attainment led to the Bodhisattva path. Option D, powerful merchant guilds of early medieval South India. Here we have to understand that paramitas is a Buddhist term. This term literally translates to perfection. In the Buddhist commentaries, paramitas is described as noble character qualities that is associated with enlightened beings. Therefore, option C would be the right answer to our question. Now let us take up the fact of the day, which is remission of duties and taxes on exported products scheme. What is the context? This article in the Hindu newspaper states that the central government has notified the rates and norms for the remission of duties and taxes on exported products scheme. So what exactly is this scheme all about? Under this scheme, to ensure zero rating of exports, that is to ensure that the domestic taxes are not exported, all the taxes, including the ones levied by the states and even Gram Panchayats, will be refunded to the exporters. So the exporters will receive refunds on the embedded taxes and duties that were previously non-recoverable. Why was this scheme launched? The primary aim of the scheme was to boost the export of goods that were poor in volume. So when did this scheme come into effect? This scheme came into effect from the 1st of January 2021 and replaced two earlier schemes, that is the Merchandise Export Incentive Scheme and the Services Export Incentive Scheme. Both of these schemes were replaced because both the schemes were in violation of the WTO norms. This new scheme covers over 8,500 tariff lines and accounts for about 75% of the traded items and 65% of Indian exports. Now, what are the main features of this scheme? This scheme covers duties and taxes that are levied at the central, state as well as the local levels and that are not reimbursed under any other mechanism. So the items that were under the MEIS are also now shifted under this scheme. All such duties and taxes that were levied will now be remitted to the exporter. The next feature is that the refunds follow an automated system. That is, it will be issued to the exporters as transferable duty credits or as electronic scripts. And these refunds will be maintained in an electronic ledger. And also, these electronic scripts can be used to pay basic custom duty on imported goods. The third feature is that it ensures speedy clearance. Since it is through a digital platform, it means lesser paperwork. And lesser paperwork means lesser days. So it will ensure faster clearances. The fourth feature is that this scheme is WTO compliant. Unlike the earlier schemes, that is the Merchandise Export Incentive Scheme and the Services Export Incentive Schemes, this new scheme is WTO compliant. So what are the benefits of this scheme? The rebate provided under this scheme will allow the exporters to reduce the pricing of their exports. So these products will be sold at competitive prices abroad, so it increases the competitiveness of Indian products. The next benefit is that it will provide boost to exports and in turn it will help India achieve a favorable balance of payments. It will make sure that the exports are promoted. It will also provide a boost to specified sectors as the exporters will get refunds and these refunds can be used by them to increase their production. So all in all, this scheme will help exporters meet international standards, it will boost exports and also promote business growth which in turn will facilitate India's economic growth. That is all for today. Thank you for being with us. Keep watching and keep learning.